that 4 weeks ago the Judicial Service Commission addressed Kenyans through a press conference at this very place over the increasing incidents of attacks by various groups of people who were given to making threats and demands intended to interfere with the work of the judiciary. Since the Supreme Court delivered the judgment on the 2017 presidential election petition on 1st of September 2017, these attacks have become even more aggressive, culminating in lengthy and uninterrupted demonstrations right outside the Supreme Court building yesterday and today. Whereas we recognize and respect the rights of citizens to picket as provided in the Constitution, these demonstrations have bordered on violence and are clearly intended to intimidate the judiciary and the individual judges. Further, in a particularly unfortunate incident, yesterday in Kirinyaga County, Honorable Mother Karua was blocked by demonstrators from accessing the Karugoya law courts for the hearing of our petition. This amounts to intimidation of petitioners and shall never be allowed to happen. It is notable and worrying that these attacks are occurring at a time when the judiciary is starting to hear the 339 petitions already filed in various courts. At the same time, individual judges, particularly of the Supreme Court, as well as other judicial officers and staff, have been attacked, threatened, and negatively profiled on social media. Senior political leaders have also threatened the judiciary, promising to cut it to size and teach us a lesson. These attacks are denigrating, demeaning, and degrading, and are meant to intimidate, threaten, and cow the institution and individual churches. Such acts are not only unlawful, but also savage in nature. In view of these unfortunate developments, the Judicial Service Commission would like to state that we unreservedly condemn these mindless acts of aggression against the judiciary and reiterate that even if anything happens to the individual judges, staff, or their families, those making these inciting statements will be held personally responsible. The Judicial Service Commission notes with dismay that the Inspector General of Police, who is expected to provide security to all government facilities, has repeatedly ignored calls to act, exposing judicial officers, property, and litigants to danger. The judiciary is an arm of government equal to the executive and the legislature. If leaders are tired of having a strong and independent judiciary, they should call a referendum and abolish it altogether. Before that happens, the judiciary will continue to discharge its mandate in accordance with the Constitution and the individual oaths of office. The judiciary has not and will never seek to direct the other arms of government about how to perform their functions. In the same vein, we will not allow anybody to dictate to us how to discharge our mandate as given by the people of Kenya under the Constitution. We want to state that the rule of law must be allowed to prevail at all times. The Judicial Service Commission supports the independence of the judiciary as an institution, as well as the independence of every judge, magistrate or qadi. We urge all judicial officers to proceed with their work in accordance with their constitutional mandate, without any fear, favor, or bias, and in accordance with the responsibility accorded us by the people of Kenya. All sovereign power belongs to the people. We therefore will never agree to work in accordance with the whims and desires of the executive or parliament. The judiciary, as currently constituted, cannot and shall not guarantee a particular outcome to any individual. We call upon Kenyans of goodwill to stand up for the independence of the judiciary and the rule of law. On our part, we are prepared to pay the ultimate price to protect the Constitution and the rule of law. Thank you very much. No.
And that is Chief Justice David Maraga, who is calling on Kenyans of goodwill to stand up for the judiciary. And he's also urging the judiciary to proceed with their duties without fear, favor, or intimidation. And he's also actually spoken out and said that the Judicial Service Commission supports the independence of the judiciary and the rule of law must be allowed to prevail at all times. He's also mentioned that the judiciary will never seek direction